Dramatic evening in the Premier League so far. So as you can see, Arsenal still top at 5 points clear, and they have got a game more than Manchester City just behind them in second place.
Mikel, in honesty, does that feel self-inflicted tonight?
Yeah, it's very tough to accept it, but the second half we didn't perform at any level in any aspect of the game at the standards that are required to win a game in the Premier League, and we paid the price.
Do you understand why? I mean, I know it's only a few minutes after the game.
There was too many things that went wrong. It was one after the other, basically, and we never got any dominance or control of the game. We scored the second one goal and it's still there. So it's better not to judge it. We are all too emotional about it, and it's not the moment to do it. It's a moment when you don't perform and you are at this level and expectations are where they are. Is now you have to take the hit because as well we deserve it.
I remember you saying after the Manchester United game, this is a moment for being close to the players, almost for looking after them. Would you reiterate that message now? Would you feel a bit differently tonight?
No, exactly the same. And there is not. It's very easy now when you're emotion to start to say things that can damage the team, and that's the ultimate and the worst decision that you can make, because everybody wants to do their best. Nobody questions that. Today we're at the level, at the races, and at the standards that are required. And when you do that, and you want to be at this level, you have to take the hit.
You also spoke after that Manchester United game about enjoying the situation, the position that you've worked really hard to get in. Do you still have a sense that the players aren't doing that right now? You're not enjoying the position you've earned?
But the enjoyment comes from moments of suffering as well. If you believe that you come to any ground in the Premier League and you don't have to go through tough periods, that's not the reality. So enjoyment comes as well from those moments when you're not at the best. Okay, get through and find a way to do that. And today, at the end, in the last minute, we pay the price.
And when you're talking about things missing, are you talking about application, effort, those sorts of... It's more quality, is it?
None of that. I've never seen that in this team. There are many other aspects that you have to do. Very basic things, simple things, much better than we've done if you want to really dominate the game and bring the margins that there should be between the two teams.
Yeah, talking of margins, are you concerned in general, over the course of a few games now, that when you're getting into tonight, the Brentford game, the Man United game, you're getting into these strong positions and then you're letting teams back in? Has that been going on for a little while now?
Depends, because against Leeds it didn't happen. But whatever it says or judge on, you have to accept it, because today we need to be very critical with ourselves. In the second half, it wasn't good enough, that's clear.
What about the form in general, Mikel? It's 2 wins in 7, starting with that Liverpool game. Is that a concern, or have you seen enough good bits in and around it, some of the cup performances, to not be too concerned?
Well, in the league, that's the numbers and that's the reality, that we haven't been as consistent as we've been in the first few months. You put the cups in between, that's a different story. So, whatever the stats say now, when you don't perform at the level that is required, you have to accept them.
How big a test is it ahead now for the whole club, but for you, for the team, to get this title challenge back on track? You're top, of course. Now
you have to stand up when they have a moment of difficulty, and we feel really frustrated with ourselves. You have the perfect game against the Spurs away to go and show how much we want it and how good we are. That's it. That's what we have to do. Talk on the pitch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, after that draw, this is where Arsenal are currently in the Premier League table, still top of the table, 5 points clear of Manchester City, but of course have played that game extra and they're still yet to face each other as well, which comes on to the next point of the remaining fixtures. We're finally at that stage of the season now where we can get all of the fixtures onto the same page. But in terms of what's to come compared to Manchester City, how do you see this?
It's all about football's all about timings. You play teams at certain times in the league. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can look down here at West Ham, the 18th in the league, but that might be their game that they're fighting for survival, or they might have won 5 on the trot and they're middle of the table and they're safe and they're on holiday. You just don't know with the timings of the games. Like, Aston Villa could already be in the top 4, cemented, might be in the Europa final, and they're done. Do you know what I mean? And that game's not as hard as what it looks on paper. So it's difficult. I always look at the next two. Arsenal have got Chelsea and Tottenham. They are 2 very difficult games. more so, no disrespect to Newcastle and Leeds, you take Newcastle and Leeds over Spurs and Chelsea to start with.
Yeah, and I think Mace is exactly right. And I know we're going to go on to another slide in a minute, but the big thing I always go off is past experiences and how teams finish. And we know how Manchester City finish. I know we're going to show something in a minute, but we know how they finish. We know how Pep Guardiola finishes, and this obviously shows what we're talking about now. And he is an absolute monster at finishing strong, Pep Guardiola. And that's what I go off. I go off experiences, and I keep mentioning about Man City being sat at home, but they'll be sat at home now looking at this going, yeah, this is a bit of us. So, yeah, we look at this here and how they finish seasons. It's unbelievable the way they do it. Yeah, this is just points won by both Arsenal and Manchester City of the last 4 Premier League seasons in the last 12 games. Of course, different teams. You can argue whether Manchester City have got the same team as what they've had the last couple of seasons. But when you look at that, you speak about the experience. They're going to need to get this momentum, aren't they? Because they don't want the same thing to happen where City are having such a strong end to the season and Arsenal can't keep up. Well,
I wouldn't want to be in Arsenal's shoes if it happens again. I mean, I was quite shocked with the interview of Arteta then. First time really I've seen him not majorly positive. Do you know what I mean? Usually he comes out, you know, we've done this, we've done that. And he's saying, oh, we deserve the hit, we deserve the hit. You know, instead of coming out and going, we're 5 points clear, as long as we don't get beat by Man City, we go same as them, we win the league. Wasn't like that. Even he was I was a bit worried with that interview. Even he's finding it now and he's thinking, wow, you can only do to the team so much. And when you're watching that, there's something missing. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something missing. And if I had to highlight something, I would highlight what Marnie did to the 3 lads. Madueke, Martinelli, Saka. He brings the ball down and he just literally turns away from them. First half or 7, 9, 10 games ago, they take the ball off him and they're up the pitch and it's a counter-attack. Something's missing. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes if they don't win the league this year, because if they ain't winning the league this year, you know, I remember Patrick Vieira saying before the Man United game when he was on with Roy Keane, he said now or never. And I'm starting to think now. I was very bullish about Arsenal winning the league. That's half scared me tonight. If you're playing in that dressing room tonight and you're looking ahead to the next couple of games, of course, you've got Northern and Derby coming up at the weekend. How important is the reaction now? It's important for leaders within the dressing room. I know there's a lot of leaders in that dressing room. Bukayo obviously come out and spoke. We've also got Gabriel, Saliba, obviously other guys behind the scenes now as well being injured. It's about leaders stepping forward, about leaders standing up strong, going in tomorrow, wiping the floor with it, going, right, that's gone now. The next one is the big one, which is a big one for Arsenal. It's absolutely massive. And then after that, there's another big one. So we're talking about 2 massive ones coming up for Arsenal now. And it's important they dust themselves down, they get themselves going, they look at where they went wrong tonight, because I think a lot's gone wrong tonight for Arsenal. And really put it to bed then for Sunday, because, like I said, 2 real big games coming up. To win this, and tonight didn't go well.
And the numbers are there. They are stark, and it's not good, Glenn, from an Arsenal point of view. In terms of, recent weeks, because you look at Arsenal, they've dropped points in 5 of their last 7 games. Yeah. So they've taken 10 from a possible 21. And look, Manchester City are by no means convincing everyone at the moment, but they will take a lot of heart from that result.
Oh, exactly. They've opened the door. It was Arsenal's, a few weeks ago, it was Arsenal's to lose, to give away. And I said the analogy of before going into a golf major, and it doesn't start until the back 9 on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. Arsenal tonight have just gone into the back 9, and they're on the wobble. And that's what happens to guys if they haven't won it in a major, a massive thing, and you've got a really top player behind you that's done it, Man City. Yeah. If it's Tiger Woods or Scheffler, you bottle it.
Yeah.
All right, then, let's get a little bit more reaction we can hear now from Bukayo Saka. He's with Pat Davison.
Bukayo, a night that started so brilliantly. How flat is that dressing room you just walked out of?
Yeah, it's very flat. I'm very disappointed with the result, and especially how we played in the second half. Far from the level that we've set this season.
So what would you say happened second half? And are you worried it's a bit of a reoccurring theme, letting teams back into matches that you seem to have locked down?
Not so much about reoccurring theme. It's time for us to reflect on the last few performances and just fix the issues immediately, so we can get back to winning games and going on a run and build momentum, because, we've lost that a bit right now.
Did you think you've lost it? Is that due to the situation you're facing? You're going for massive prizes. Is the pressure part of it?
No, I don't think about all of that, man. just think we need to just get back to our level, just do the basics right, and we've got more than enough quality in this team to win games, especially the games where we've been dropping points recently. So we just need to fix that, and that's all our focus is right now.
Thanks, Bukayo.
Thank you.
Well done, mate.
Do you think there is a little bit of added pressure, especially because they've got such a busy schedule, Arsenal? They've been leading the way in the Premier League and they've also got to compete on other fronts as well.
Yeah, I know they're on all kinds of fronts, but you just take one game at a time. So this game had to be looked after. They'll be going back on the coach or the train tonight, and you don't get these moments back. You don't get them back. You know, it was 2 points thrown away, 1,000,000%. You know, it wasn't a point gain like I thought at Brentford. Brentford's a hard place, but they're 2-0 up. You've got to play every game to the last minute. I showed you that when Mane gets it, 3 players go around him, he just walks through them and he passes the ball along. Them moments have to stop. If you want to win Premier Leagues, you have to stop them little moments. And if you don't, as Connor said, Man City will punish you. And now, all of a sudden, from nowhere, from going from the 11 points clear a while back, now it's not even in their hands. And that is unbelievable. That is what's happened.
Although Arsenal, of course, will be disappointed with what's happened tonight, because they've been performing so well this season, they've had so much joy, can they use that again to sort of go back onto a bit of a run and a bit more momentum?
Of course they can use it. I think they can. They're a top-class team, by the way. So let's not take away the fact that they're a top-class team, because they are, and they've got a world-class manager and a fantastic manager. So for me, they can certainly get to it. But when Bukayo says there about he doesn't think about that sort of stuff, he definitely does when he goes home, 100%. And for me, Mercer just mentioned there about fighting on all fronts. For me, the Premier League's got to be your focus. It's got to be your focus. So these games has to be Arsenal's focus. And listen, I've never been in that boat to speak from experience about being in a Premier League title race. But at the same time, we all watch a lot of football, and that has to be the focus. The Premier League being so far in front for so long and not winning it for so long, for me, has to be Arsenal's focus, and that will hit them hard today, because we keep on mentioning Manchester City, but Manchester City's players and Pep Guardiola will be sat at home now, rubbing their hands together, going, right, here we go. It's game on now. We're coming for you. So I definitely think he thinks about it. The pressure will build. I think it is building. I think we can see it with the performance and then the reaction at the end as well.
Punish people if they make that sort of mistake. Yes, he did.
Are you playing sport here? Are you taking that away from him? Is that Calafiori goal? The moment it's an Edozie goal?
No, it should be his goal. And do you know that this is the opposite extreme? So we're talking about different emotions here. This is a kid who didn't even know he was going to be in the squad. He gets off the bench. He comes on, he's got absolutely nothing to lose. He's playing with freedom. And he ends up scoring a massive goal.
And before the game, Mark, that's what we said about Wolves. They're planning for next year. So Rob's looked at that and thought, I'm going to put a young kid on the bench, and he's put him on as well. And he's made the difference.
So what's the message? Don't worry, still top of the table. But where would the main concerns be, Mikel Arteta, first session back on that training pitch?
I think really in front of goal. I think trying to finish teams off. You know, what are you getting as an end product? You know, the ball has gone from one end of the pitch to the other. Jesus has not ended up with an end product. We've not even ended up a shot at goal, and it's gone straight the other end. I can understand the goalkeeper occasionally, Gabriel. There's a bit of a mix-up. They're both trying to get to a ball that, you know, Gabriel has to trust his goalkeeper. But it becomes a bit nervy, and then it all falls on the defence. So I have some sympathy there. But the front of the team could have kept that, could have time wasted, could have done a whole lot of other things. But giving it away without any real... It was just a nothing challenge for it to lead from that was disappointing.
I just feel... I look at Arsenal now at Brentford and today, and I just feel they're doubting themselves. Months ago, they weren't. They were authoritative. They were looking at we are Arsenal, we're going to win it this year. Now, they're doubting themselves. And this is why I said about this analogy of they're under pressure now. It's all about the mentality. They've got to really be strong and collective to go again.
But how hard is that as a manager to reinforce that belief?
Well, first and foremost, he'll be disappointed himself. He's got to pick himself up first before he can pick any of his players up, that's for sure. But it is time. It's time. It's not a crossroads, but it's time to say, we've got to start again here, boys. We've got to go again. You know, they're not decimated with loads of injuries. They're not missing so many players, but they've got to go again. They've got the North London derby at Tottenham, which ain't going to be easy. You know, I think they'll have enough maybe to beat Tottenham because the Spurs' squad at the
There's so much left of the season.
A long way to go.
It's been a bad night, but
they're doubting themselves.
You get knocked down, you get back up again. That's the life of a footballer.
But you know the way this will be dressed up, Martin, whether you like it or not. It'll be a case of, and it's in Arsenal's hands, of course, but it is also now in Manchester City's hands as well with the game at the Etihad.
Yeah, and perhaps it's going to be tough for them. Perhaps now the fact that they can go and maybe see that they can win it becomes difficult for them. They've got rid of 5 or 6 really key players. The De Bruynes, the Gundogan's, the goalkeeper's gone, Walker's gone, Akanji's gone. So it's a different group, and they're not necessarily as consistent. So it's over to them now to see what they can do.
The key thing for me is the management team around that team has been there and done it.
Well, we know Pep's won 18
so
trophies.
that's a big difference.
Yeah, he's won 18 trophies for Man City. I mean, he's a serial winner. So, at the end of the day, you're up against one of the all-time greats. But you have to give more than you gave tonight. And I think they'll realise that.
Yeah.
The penny will drop for these players, and they have to turn it around.
And will the concern be the fact that the position they were in as well was so commanding, wasn't it? After Bukayo Saka had given them the lead in the 5th minute, and then obviously 2-0 up, and the ability to see out a game against a team who's rock bottom of the Premier League, will that be the main worry?
Well, look, even if Arsenal had won tonight, it's not over, is it? It's certainly not over now that they've drawn a game of football. It's how they react now, which is key. But you can't keep being in front and giving the game away. Go and take it. Want to go and be champions. That's the difference tonight. I thought they had a great opportunity to finish it off. When you've got your opponent with your foot on the floor, you don't let them up. And I thought tonight they gave them a chance to come back in the game. This is 3 minutes in, and Saka, or 5 minutes in, we talked about Saka in this role, and it was working beautifully. But they never, Glenn. I thought they needed to score in this momentum. They needed to score maybe 2, maybe 3
They needed
goals.
to go for the throat just after that. But what would concern me from the Arsenal's camp is that at 2-0, that is the worst they played. They're 2-0 up, and that is where out of the 90-plus minutes, that's the worst they played. They went downhill with their performance.
Just to add something to what you're saying there, last 5 games in the Premier League, they've dropped 7 points from winning positions.
There's a doubt in their minds. That's what I'm talking about. There is a definite doubt in their minds, and I just feel that unless they win the next couple of games, and all this will be yesterday's talk, they've got a real couple of games ahead of them now. They really have got to focus in. They've got cup in between as well, of course. But the bottom line is they are self-doubting. When you do that, that's a very difficult thing mentally to overcome.
It's hard to dress that up in a positive way when you look at that, Martin. Last 7.
Yes, but when you're on the inside of that, you have to flick that switch, Will. Yeah. Like people can have fun with it, where it seems everywhere you go as an Arsenal man, everyone's loving it that Arsenal things are slipping away. Well, on the inside, you've got to be tough. You've got to have that steely determination to say, do you know what? I don't care what's coming my way. We're better than that, and we can turn this around. I'd like to see Havertz. Too important because he's been injured again. That's not his fault. He's only took to the pitch 9 times in a calendar year. That's been painful. So you need to get people back. Marino's out now for the rest of the season pretty well. So that hurts the group, Ødegaard. But you need someone. You need that match winner. That's someone who gives everyone belief, puts it out of sight.
But they should have done that after Brentford. What you're saying is right. You've got to do that. But after Brentford, they've dropped points there. Then you're saying what you're saying. But it hasn't happened tonight. And unless they get a win under their belt at the weekend, they're going to be in trouble.
But it's relentless. It's game after game. It's relentless for us, covering the games, talking about the games, never mind the players. But at the end of the day, if they can win it, it's a beautiful feeling. So they've got to keep striving for that. Well, look, they're not going to give up, Will.
No, I know you're not. And I love the fighting attitude. And that will be, of course, the talk in the Arsenal dressing room. But this is what's to come up to the game against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium on the 18th of April. And, of course, within that's the next 6 Premier League. But within that, they play Manchester City in a cup final at Wembley, which I know you'll be going to and having your eye on that. I wonder how much is going to be on that in terms of psychology.
Yeah, but this is when you have to love it. You don't fear. Fear
do you think they love it? Because I know you do. Do you see that?
Well, that's what I want to see.
That's
what I want to see. I want to see the whites of their eyes, and I want to see that we're all in or no one's in. And that's what you need to be successful. And it's like the workloads we know they're tremendous. They're playing games every 2 or 3 days, and he's got injuries where Man City's squad now, they bought two players in the transfer window, Semenya and Guehi, have really stocked their squad well, and Arsenal have lost players. But look, we've still got enough players to go and do something. There's still time here. But they'll be reflecting tonight that was another missed opportunity.
We need people between you on Sunday for the North London derby. That's next for Arsenal.
We're not allowed anywhere near that game, me and Glenn.
The thing is, they got
Spurs' new manager. I mean, that's no walk through, is it?
Any new manager, you're looking for an upturn without a doubt. Whether Spurs have got the right team out, they've got 13 injuries, and it's a good time for Arsenal to play them in that sense. Not after that result.
Spurs will see that tonight, though, won't they?
Oh, of course they will.
Hold on,
there'll be a bit of heart
here.
Exactly, there'll be a bit of heart, and this is the crossroads now that Arsenal face. The next they've got 2 London derbies, Tottenham and Chelsea. They're going to be tough games.
Arsenal fans then in the stadium at Molineux, but Alan Smith was watching for us in the commentary box. Just put into context how disappointing of a result that can be for Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a pivotal moment, to be honest with you, Pete. A vital one, maybe a turning point. We'll wait and see. Obviously, it's in Manchester City's hands now, but having been 2 goals up against the team that's rock bottom on 9 points, just not good enough for a team that's hoping to win the title. And the way, things unravelled at the end, Trossard just trying to waste time, and then David Raya panicking, coming out when he didn't need to come out. It doesn't bode well, really, for Arsenal being able to handle the pressure, I think.
When you're looking at this game with Arsenal, it didn't feel like they were feeling very comfortable throughout the whole game. They scored 5 minutes into it with Bukayo Saka, and then you're thinking, can they take control at this point? Where do you think that was lacking in this game?
It's difficult to say. That having got off to such a great start, the perfect start, you're thinking, they're going to put the foot on the accelerator and take the game away from Wolves, but they almost stepped off it, allowed Wolves back into the game, gave them some confidence, and Arsenal did make it difficult for themselves. But at 2-0, you're thinking that it's home and hosed, and then Hugo Bueno produces something special, and all of a sudden this place is alive again, and Arsenal get twitchy. That there were clearly a lot of nerves within the camp. The whole situation seems to be getting the better of them. It did tonight, and going forward, hopefully that won't be the case going forward, but it doesn't bode well, Pete.
Yeah, Smarges Merce. You're right, mate.
Hi, Merce.
It's going to come on full blast now. Being bottle jobs, melting, last few years. It's full on now. Drawn away at Brentford and then being 2 goals up against the worst team in the league. Let's not get away from that. They've got 10 points now. It's going to come on. How are they going to cope with this now?
Yeah, big job for Arteta, Merce, isn't it, now, to try and calm things down. He's really got to earn his money, I think, because what you saw out there at the final whistle with Jesus on the Wolves defender losing his composure, rattled. Obviously, the whole Arsenal side were frustrated, but they've just got to settle down. We've spoken so often about them being the best team, the best squad in the league. But, that counts for nothing if you haven't got that composure and ability to play and get results under pressure. And as you say, Merce, that word bottle will be used quite a bit in the next few days.
Smudge, just a quick one. Thinking about the other side of it now with Manchester City, what will they be feeling now, do you think? Will they be rubbing the lips? Will they be looking at it, going, this is us now, we can catch them?
I think they will, Connor. Yeah, most definitely. They'll be thinking, they can feel our breath on the shoulder. And with their experience, with Guardiola's experience, they'll be really fancying it now. Obviously, it's a big game against Newcastle for them at the weekend, but they can almost feel the nerves of the Arsenal team watching that tonight. I mean, they probably wouldn't have expected what we saw right at the end, but they saw it, and now they really would have gained confidence from it.
Smudge, just asking again, they've gone 2-0 up. When I'm watching the game, even when they go 1-0 up in 5 minutes, it seems like they're not playing to their full potential. It seems like they're playing in second gear, and it's like, well, we're not going to let in any goals, so 1-0's enough, and it's a dangerous score, and then they go 2-0 up. They've got to treat every game like a cup final, and it seems to me they're not at the moment, and it's just a bit lackadaisical.
Yeah, I mean, they dominated possession in that first half, having gone a goal up, but they didn't create many chances, Merce, did they? And looking at the stats before the game, Manchester City had scored 16 more goals from open play than Arsenal, the league leaders Arsenal. And I know we say it doesn't matter how you score, and Arsenal have been brilliant at set pieces, but 16 more goals from open play. And that tells you that Arsenal aren't creating so many as they should be, and they certainly didn't, having gone a goal up when you would have expected them to take charge and maybe get the second and get the third, but it's just not happening for them at the moment.
Alan, thank you very much. We'll let you go. Go and get yourself warm.
Cheers so much.
Thanks, Pete. Cheers.
Just picking up on enough goals, which is what Alan was saying, where do you think that's coming from? Because when you are top of the table, you need to be at the top of all of these sort of statistics, don't you, to be able to win the Premier League?
Well, they're top of set plays, and that's the one that's kept them up there. But I said at half-time, it seems whatever they do, they fall over it. Seems to be a pattern. And we're talking during the game, me and Connor, I can't believe how many times they give away the ball so cheaply. It was so cheap, instead of dictating the game 1-2-0 up and then keeping it and going across that way, drawing Wolves out. They give away, I don't think they put 3 or 4 passes together at too many stages in the second half. And when you're playing against, and I'm not going to get away, Wolves are not a great team. They've got 9 points before tonight. So, they're not the team that we're expecting, that we expect Arsenal to come back from 2-0 down and get a draw with Arsenal. They've got to be more patient. They're forcing it, but they're playing in second gear. And it reminds me when we won the league years ago and it was 1-0 to the Arsenal, it feels like that to me. It feels like we'll get a goal, we're all right now, we won't let in any more goals, it'll be solid. But it doesn't happen. We said that you're always going to get a chance in this football nowadays. And, and fair play to the young kid. The young kid's goal's a good goal. When you're a 19-year-old kid, you've come on for your debut and that ball bounces down, everything's going through your head. And for him to keep that ball like that, it could become a Man City hero.